Hello, welcome. Now today the topic that I want to be discussing is testosterone, and specifically why you may have been to your doctor and you've said you've had signs of low testosterone. Maybe you've got low energy, maybe you've got low sex drive, libido, maybe that you struggle with good erections, you struggle with just motivation, and you've said, look, I'm getting a little bit older. People say that testosterone should go down as we age, or does go down as we age. Lifestyle factors don't really help the matter. Now, I want to get my testosterone tested. Now, you go to your doctors, hopefully they're on board to say, let's have a blood test. First off, we want to look at if we can get these markers, but also trying to get a full blood test as well, a full blood count. So we have things like red blood cells, inflammation from white blood cells, liver and kidney function. But what we'll sometimes find is that your parameters seem what we shall say normal. But why do you still have these symptoms? When you go to your doctor, first off, what they will do is they will probably just test for total testosterone, which we will see that on this one, the parameters are 8.64 to 29. Now, if you're in America, there are going to be different numbers on there, different measurements, but this person's slightly low on the markers. But his doctors probably said, look, no, the testosterone levels are fine. And you just need to get a little bit more rest. Maybe like have a look at sleeping a little bit more and all these sorts of things. But the problem is actually his testosterone is low, his free testosterone is low, but it hasn't been looked at. Now, these sleep issues that are happening are then going to deregulate things like blood glucose is all out of whack as well. So then there's going to be sleep issues, which means the recovery time isn't there to get regeneration when we're sleeping to detox and rejuvenate cells. So his testosterone issues are going to be there in the forefront. Now, what we can do if we do get a full panel, if we're lucky enough of our doctor to be on board enough to give this full panel, we need to look at all these different things that's going on. Now, first off, I can see here that what we have to look at is albumin. How is the liver and kidney function? I can see that this person has got a very low albumin levels, and maybe it was a little bit lower, but I haven't put it on here for the purposes. But this would be one signal straight away that the liver isn't functioning effectively enough. And maybe this person has had a sign of total testosterone is actually okay, but his liver function isn't working as effectively. So he's stressed out, he's not eating a very good diet, his blood glucose is all over the show, and he's drinking to switch off. Now this is going to affect the liver function and what we call methylation and all sorts of detoxification processes. It can also be linked with kidney function. Maybe he's a bit dehydrated all the time. And we need to actually look at working at that with liver and kidney function. Maybe it's not the testosterone, maybe it's not the testes that are the issue. Then as a result, what happens, we usually see SHBG, this being high. Now what this means is basically that the testosterone that we have, the total testosterone that the testes are producing needs to actually be bound up. So we have this thing called sex hormone binding globulin, which gets bound up. It grabs this testosterone, it's like a taxi, and it'll take it around the body and drop it off where it needs to be. If this is too high, testosterone is getting in and not being able to get out. Now this is potentially could link with liver function. Why is this so high? Now what happens when this is so high, this total testosterone, which is actually already quite low, is binding too much testosterone. So we don't have enough free testosterone to get all around the body. We also know right now that prolactin is quite high. Is this person also having some thyroid issues as a result because we're seeing high levels of prolactin? These are just questions that I want to be asking more and more. I can see that his estrogen is actually quite high. Why is this? Again, is it linked with being able to clear used hormones when it comes to liver and kidney function? Is it being able to methylate and actually get raw materials from our diet and actually be able to utilize them? Is this person supplementing with the right things? We'll need to investigate a little bit further. And what we have to look at is that total testosterone will not tell the complete picture. It will not give the complete picture. Free testosterone, this won't give the complete picture. Yes, this person is going to be suffering a lot. His low moods, low sex drives, low quality of erections. He's going to be suffering from low motivation. He's probably one of these people that has been told, you need to go and train. You need to go to the gym and lift some heavy weights. But he's got no motivation to do that. So we need to work on how do we get this down into a much better range, improve this, and actually we want to get this to go that way a little bit to get the testosterone levels up, but more importantly, get your free testosterone, get that going the right direction, get your prolactin coming down the right way. We need to improve these things. And then we can look at things like follicular stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. But the place where I would look first off here is looking at our HPG, hypothalamus pituitary gonad axis, or some people would say HPT, hypothalamus pituitary testes axis. But I link the HPT more with thyroid. And what we actually have here is we have a signal that comes into our brain. Now this signal comes from different things like your nervous system, your immune system, and neurotransmitters. Can't spell. So we're getting these different signals come through, and also other hormones around the body. Loads of signals are getting input all the time into our hypothalamus, which is basically like the central control room of the whole body in the brain. Now what happens here is your hypothalamus is going to be this control panel. It's going to be this central control panel of our brain. That will then send a signal to our pituitary gland. Now first off, if we know that our nervous system is out of whack because we are too stressed, we're going to have issues sending the right signals. If we are overloading our immune system with too many toxins, which is then impacting liver function as well, if we are being exposed to this too much, that is going to have an issue with sending the right signals from the hypothalamus to the pituitary gland. And the same if we're not getting the right neurotransmitters like dopamine issues. If we're having dopamine issues or serotonin, say you're on a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, SSRI, antidepressants and things, we're then going to find that we're not getting the right levels of these to actually stimulate the message to the hypothalamus to then signal the pituitary gland. Now what should happen here, let's change the colour again. I like to get different colours. Let's go for blue, let's keep it on brand. We then should have something come through, GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. That will go to the pituitary gland. And from that pituitary gland, we then get a signal to tell the testes and tell the body to produce luteinizing hormone and follicular stimulating hormone. I used to get these always the wrong way around, but follicular stimulating hormone is going to be the thing that helps with spermatogenesis. So we look at sperm production. Luteinizing hormone is going to be the thing that helps testosterone. And again, then we can get into this being the total testosterone. How do we get this to have SHBG taken around to muscles, muscle, tissue, cells, all around the body to then be changed into unbound and free testosterone. Now, we also know that for these things, we then need raw materials. And one of the biggest things on raw materials is that we need to have the right cholesterol levels. So if we haven't got the right cholesterol, to then have that raw material to create testosterone, we're going to see issues over here with testosterone levels and free testosterone. Now the problem is that it's so normalized now in Western medicine to give cholesterol lowering medication because it seemed to be this bad thing, but we need cholesterol, raw materials, to actually produce the hormones we need, and we need to get good cholesterol from our diet. Now there's problems that happen is that things that can impact all of this, that can send stress signals back with the immune system, neurotransmitters, hormones, that can stop the conversion with liver function and all these different things. We have gut health. This is starting to look a bit messy. If your gut isn't working right, if you've got poor microbiome diversity, your gut health is going to be a big factor as to why we don't get the right levels of testosterone. Then we also have stress levels. If we are too highly stressed, chronically, consistently stressed, you need stress. We need stress to survive. We need stress to get through. But we have emotional and physical stress. And the emotional stress is seen in the body as the same thing as physical stress. We need to get the right levels of stress in our body, not too much, not too little. So if you are smashing workouts, you absolutely could lower your testosterone levels, which seems counterproductive. If you're doing loads of cortisol boosting, high levels of cardio, you could lower your testosterone levels. The same thing if you're not getting enough sleep because your stress levels are through the roof and you're waking up through the night 1, 2, 3, 4 times to go to the toilet, that could be an issue for your testosterone. So we need to work on these stress levels. Then we also maybe aren't getting the right supplements in. Now with that supplements is that if we can't have good liver function, if our liver function and kidney function is off, maybe we can't go through a thing called methylation, and we can't go through like conjugation and different glucuronidation, different things that are methods that are going to turn sulfation pathways that are going to turn inactive forms of B12 into active things like methylcobalamin and other things as well. So we supplement and we think, B12, it should give us energy. B6 and all these B vitamins should help us with cellular function, but we can't turn them from inactive into active forms. And that's one of my gripes with folic acid when it comes to pregnancy as well, that a lot of people can't go through that. We're sticking on testosterone right now. Then we also have to look at routine. Are you actually in a routine that says that you're someone that deserves to have high levels of testosterone, good, consistent levels of testosterone? If you are not, getting yourself to bed at a decent hour, getting over 7 hours of sleep regularly, and actually setting yourself up for success, then your routine may be where we need to look at. It's hydration, it's food, it's sleep schedule, it's how are you actually getting exposure to sunlight, all these different things are what we need to look at. And again, I've touched on that one there. Hydration being a big thing, good quality water. Now there's something that I meant to touch on when we looked at these levels as well. And that is that when we look at the levels, we look at high or low. These numbers, and I discussed it on a podcast yesterday, and that will be out in the next few weeks. These numbers are based on sick population. So by the time we get to these numbers, we are deemed as sick. Now I've had people come to me and said their doctor was telling me I'm completely fine with testosterone. Okay, can you get that blood test? We've got that blood test, we've checked through it, we've looked through it. Now this testosterone, maybe that was 8.64 being low and it's showing 9. That's telling me that something's going on here. Now ideally we'll have had 6 months before that and maybe it was 11, 12. But I would like someone's testosterone to be sitting in the high teens ideally. Maybe low 20s. That would be an awesome thing for someone in their 30s, maybe in their 40s as well. And if these are in the numbers that albumin being here and it's say 36 and technically low is 35, and say your testosterone 8.64 and it's 8.9 as we say, most of the time your doctors will say that's fine, it's within the markers. But if someone is so used to being in high teens and they've spent 20, 30 years in high teens, all of a sudden their liver function goes down, their lifestyle, their stress pushes them over the edge with cortisol levels and they go down and they go to the doctors and they're at 9, they're going to be showing really serious signs of low testosterone. And then if they're only looking at total testosterone, as we've said, we need to actually look at the whole picture. Free testosterone. Then we could get into red blood cell count. Are they getting enough oxygen around the body? Iron levels, MCHC, MCHV or MCV, MCHV, all these different things that come around. And lymphocytes, eosinophils, all inflammatory markers as well. We need to look at the complete picture. But first off, if there's too much stress in the body that we can't get the GnRH to the right levels, too high, too low to the pituitary gland. And this is the same for like hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenals. If we're getting cortisol misregulation and adrenal misregulation, this is a big thing to look at. Good recovery in our nervous system, good immune system function, and good neurotransmitter function. Now, if you need help with this, send me a message because you do not have to suffer with low testosterone. You do not have to suffer with low energy. I've got so many marks from writing on my hand. It reminds me of being back at school. You do not have to suffer from low energy or anything like that. You can improve your health. Simply drop me a message. I look forward to speaking to you.